Let's just see how beautiful this book is. I forgot about uh, the prints in this. Like, absolutely fucking gorgeous, right? Like that. And then you have just stunning printing. And I'm trying to find the definition of happiness because I want to. Well, but the pages are cut so weird, and trim my thumbnails so I can't separate the pages. Ridiculous. But I was reading this, so I have to trace back many years. Come on. They left the book like fairly uncut, and all the pages are a little funky. It's kind of fun, but I didn't leave my thumbnails long, so it's hard to turn pages. Come on. Can't even use my fingernail. There you go. Julian. Come on. I know that you can turn pages. These have not been read at all. Like, this thing is pretty much fresh. But old and weathered. You gotta remember, this thing's over 125 years old, so even though it's got very good paper, you still have to treat it with kindness. I'm gonna go through every page until I figure out if this had the definition of happiness in it. Some of them are uncut. Like, I've never seen a book with uncut pages like that. Isn't that weird? I think this might be the first printing of this set. Why aren't they cut? It doesn't make any sense. Another one. See, there's a lot of them. They're uncut. And it's really strange. Justice. Okay. So in philosophy, justice is very difficult to define. It's actually one of the most considered conceptual provinces of difficulty, I suppose, to define justice. So I define justice as an ability to return something to a prior moment before what you would consider a crime. So somebody takes a penny from you. You could call that injustice or crime or theft or whatever. But justice would be returning that penny to you so that, you can. I haven't read this, by the way, so I'm going off my own definitions, my own analyses. of philosophy. What? What the fuck keeps, like, just... Anyway, so, justice is the capability, which means that if you're defining capability, if people don't know that word, means that as you are, or who you are, experienced a moment in time that, come on, my fucking diaphragm is obnoxious every time I talk, that before this moment in time you existed, there's something that happens, and then something else happens. It's inconsistent with whatever you were or what you were doing. And justice would be the capability or the attempt or the justness of continuing that on before the dissection of time. Fucking... I don't understand why every time I talk, like, I get these obnoxious fucking things that happen to me. Oh, beautiful book. Look how beautiful this thing is. It's fucking stunning, right? just gorgeous. Okay, so just try not to dirty it. My hands are dirty. Where'd the little piece of paper go? I'm gonna go clean my hands and try not to ruin 125 years of history. I'll be right back. Okay, my hands should be clean enough. That I won't tarnish this pristine paper that is 125 years. Anyway, let's read about justice. as I defined it myself, returning a moment of time from a conflict to a past successful moment or whatever. How you can that is a weird way to spell that. It's a strange font. My hands should be plenty clean right now, so that justice. It's funny because he puts it in you can see. I don't open it too far because I don't want to ruin the backing or whatever you call this thing. That justice is often extremely unjust. That is nonsense, Voltaire. What? Give him a chance. That, I don't even know how to enunciate this all in capitals. That justice is often extremely unjust. Give me a second. I gotta just, I need a second. I need some water. I don't know. Maybe breakfast would have been good. I don't eat breakfast ever. That justice is often extremely unjust. It's not an observation merely of the present day. Summum justum injuria. Probably Latin. I don't know what that means. Is one of the most ancient proverbs in existence. I don't know what that means. Is summum juice just summa injuria. Yeah. It's a Latin legal maxim that translates to extreme justice is extreme injustice. Oh. I have a saying that police today break the crimes that they pretend to uphold. So justice is injustice while it's pursuing justice. That the police are they're all criminals, but we legalize them to break the crimes that they pretend to uphold. It's one of the most ancient proverbs in existence. And that would be summum jus summa injuria. I don't speak Latin very well. Is one of the most ancient proverbs in existence. There are many dreadful ways of being unjust, as for example, that of racking the innocent callous upon equivocal evidence, and thus incurring the guilt of shedding innocent blood by a too strong reliance on vain presumptions. No philosopher is perfect. Another method of being unjust is condemning to execution a man. What? Another method of being unjust is condemning to execution a man, should be a comma there, who at most deserves only 3 months imprisonment. What? This species of injustice is that of tyrants, and particularly of fanatics, whom always become tyrants whenever they obtain the power of doing mischief. Oh, you gotta remember too, Voltaire, he's writing for his time period. He's expressing through philosophy that is amalgamating to his time period. Very harsh times. When the fuck was he alive? I forget. Of course, his painting, we have the same nose. How obnoxious. Yeah, 1715. Well, used to. When I was younger, I have younger photos. We cannot more completely demonstrate this truth than by the letter of a celebrated barrister written in 1766 to the Marquis of Beccaria, one of the most celebrated professors. Why is it every time I read, I get like salivation? I can't just enjoy anything. Like, there's a fucking mosquito in here. How the hell did it get in here? We cannot more completely demonstrate this truth than by the letter of the celebrated barrister. Bishop Barrister. I can't even talk. To the Marquis of Beccaria, one of the most celebrated professors of jurisprudence. At this time in Europe. Like I said, it is literally written right there. Like, at this time in Europe, that he was hired by the Catholic Church to define the period of their lives. Letter to the Marquis of Beccaria, professor of public law, Milan. on the subject of M. de Moran Guy, 1772. Sir, you are a teacher of laws in Italy, a country from which we derive all laws except those which have been transmitted to us by our own absurd and contradictory customs. The remains of that ancient barbarism. He's so audacious. The rust of which subsists to this day in one of the most flourishing kingdoms of the earth. I cannot stop salivating every time I read these books. It's ridiculous. Your book upon crimes and punishments opened the eyes of many of the lawyers. When did that term come into effect? Of Europe, who had the eyes of many of the lawyers of Europe who had been brought up in absurd and inhuman usages. And men began everywhere to blush at finding themselves still wearing their ancient dress of savages. Oh my God, this book smells amazing. Oh my God. Your opinion. Yeah, it started to fragrant. Your opinion was requested on the dreadful execution to which I can't even focus. I gotta step back. Your opinion was requested on the dreadful execution to which two young gentlemen just out of their childhood had been sentenced. One of whom, having escaped the tortures he was destined to, has become a most excellent officer in the service of the great king, while the other I wonder. Anyway, one of whom have escaped the tortures he was destined to, has become a most excellent officer in the service of the great king, while the other, who had inspired the brightest hopes, died like a sage by a horrible death without... My God. My mouth is out of control. Died like a sage by a horrible death. I can't even... I'm over salivating. Who had inspired the brightest hopes, died like a sage by a horrible death without ostentation. You don't ever hear that word much. Ostentosity is becoming, it's sort of like bravery, but with naivety. Ostentation and without I have no idea what this fucking word is. Pusillanimity. Pusillanimity? What? A formal term for cowardice, timidity, or a general weakness of spirit. Okay. Where the fuck was I? Pusillanimity. That's a weird word. I mean, pusillanimity? I've never heard that word before. Surrounded by no less than 5 executioners. Look how beautiful this fucking book is. These lads were accused of indecency in actions and words, a fault which 3 months' imprisonment would have sufficiently punished. You would reply that their judges were assassins, and that all Europe was of your opinion. Like I said, hypocrisy. Sorry. I get really emotional when I connect with other philosophers. The way he spoke, are my hands of color? They look dead in the corner. Could be the camera. Anyway, I get very emotional when I connect with philosophers of history, and I consulted you on the cannibal sentences pass. Can I fucking have my mouth? My God, it's ridiculous. I don't think these pages have ever been open. These are so crisp. Look how crisp they are. You can hear it cracking. The print is just absolutely beautiful. And the paper. And the smell of it. The fragrance of this book is intoxicating. On Callus, on Cervin, on Montabali. And you anticipated the decrees which you afterwards. Honestly, I don't even think this page has ever been open. This is magnificently crisp. You should see it. It looks fresh. It looks like it could be printed today. It has never been opened. That's why it was cracking. Like I said, the concepts of justice are very difficult in philosophy. It's one of the most difficult arguments or discussions or analyses. I at present consult you on a cause of a very different nature. It is at once civil and criminal. It is the case of a man of quality, a major general, in the army. I mean, this paper, like, yeah, this has never been opened to this page. For 125 years. Has never been opened to this page. It is at once civil and criminal. The printing is fucking amazing. It is the case of a man of quality, Major General in the army of mankind and honor. You have to think like they thought back then. Who maintains alone his honor, just as I mentioned. I'm not pretending, by the way. In Fortune, against a whole family of poor and obscure citizens, and against an immense multitude consisting of the dregs of the people, whose execrations against him are echoed through the whole of France. I have too much saliva. The poor family accuses the general officer of taking from it by fraud and violence 100,000 crowns. Why is it when I read I get weird? God, this paper is amazing. This is amazing paper. And this print is just phenomenal. It's so distinct. And the fragrance that it emits is intoxicating. It's just the general officer accuses these poor persons of trying. Every time I breathe, I smell the book. The general officer, let's put it on so you can see it. This is the most beautiful one. This thing is fucking gorgeous. The general officer accuses these poor persons of trying to obtain from him 100,000 crowns by means equally criminal. They complain that they are not merely in danger of losing an immense property, which they never appeared to possess, but also of being oppressed, insulted, and beaten by the officers of justice, who compelled them to declare themselves guilty and consent to their own ruin and punishment. The hypocrisy of law. The general solemnly protests that these imputations of fraud and violence are atrocious calumnies. Fucking static. The advocates of the two parties contradicts each other. And all of the facts on the inductions. And even on all of the reasonings, their memorials are called tissues of falsehoods. And each treats the adverse party as inconsistent and absurd, an invariable practice in every dispute. When you have had the goodness, sir, to read their memorials, which I have now the honor of sending to you, you will, I trust, permit me to suggest the difficulties which I feel in this case. They didn't know how to use commas. They are dictated by perfect impartiality. I know neither of the parties and neither of the advocates, but having, in the course of 24 years, seen calumny. I don't know that word. Calumny and injustice so often triumph. I may be permitted to endeavor to penetrate the labyrinth in which these monsters unfortunately find shelter. I'm going to end it there. God, it's a beautiful, just beautiful book. I mean, you should really hold it in your hands. I don't really have anything to say. It's sometimes that where the fuck did I put it? Sit there. Sometimes people, they don't necessarily know. They might understand. And that's why we read. It's because it produces understanding. But they might not know. They may never know. And the duty of philosophy is to provide thought. I'm tired. My eyes are falling upon them. My eyelids, at least. God, it's a beautiful book. I think my philosophy of what I've written about justice, or had before I destroyed it, was more simple. I think I'm going to go lay in my bed. I hate bedrooms. But this book is as beautiful as any woman. It's absolutely stunning. And there is no woman that right now I would love more than this.